What comes to mind when we talk about domestic violence? Many of us recall movies like What Love Has to Do with It, starring Tina Turner, or Jennifer Lopez's Enough, or Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts. I'm sure all of you at some point have heard or know somebody that was involved in a domestic violence incident. But have you ever thought about the procedures that police officers have to follow when responding to domestic violence? In my naval career, I had to answer to different calls: traffic stop, felon stops, drugs, you name it. But when it comes to domestics are the most difficult ones. I'm M.A.2 Dominguez, member of NAS Pensacola Police Department, and I will explain to you the procedures to follow before, during, and after a domestic violence incident. Let's start by defining domestic violence. According to domesticviolence.org, domestic violence and emotional abuse are behaviors used by one person in a relationship to control the other. Partners may be married or not married, heterosexual, gay, lesbian, living together, separated, or dating. Let's move on to our first step. Our first step is arriving at the scene. The actions taken upon arrival will dictate the level of safety. Park your car at least a house away. A silent approaching vehicle might aggravate already dangerous situation. While en route, discuss with your partner the actions taken in order to separate the disputants. Maintain noise discipline. Keep your radio down. Avoid slamming the door as soon as you arrive to the scene. Now that we covered our first step, let's move on to our second step, which is our entry procedures. Entry procedures are also critical. Here you will come in contact with the disputants. Avoid the fatal funnel. Stand on one side of the door or the other, never in front of it. If time allows, listen at the door for 15 seconds before knocking. This might provide you with some information about the degree of the incident. Once inside, get the disputants under control quickly, separating visually as well as physically. One way to do this: keep them back to back with one police officer engaged in a different subject. Another way to do that: take one subject to a different room, but don't take it to the kitchen or the bathroom. There are too many things there that can become weapons. Once inside the house, also look for the house, how it looks, as might provide you with some information about the causes of the incident. If the crime was committed, somebody will have to be arrested. In situations like this, avoid handcuffing the individual in front of the victim or a child, as they might react negatively or might create resentment. Last but not least is our safe departure. You need to exercise the same level of caution as you were arriving. Never let your guard down or relax your defenses posture. If you let your guard down, you might not be able to respond to a sudden attack. Before you leave, make sure the individuals understand the points of agreement so you don't have to come back later on. At your final step, critique yourself. Always do this. It helps you to get better in responding to domestic violence. You and your partner discuss whether the steps you took were safe or not. Okay? Now that I've shown you how law enforcement responds to domestic violence, let's go over what informed you today. Today I will explain to you the 3 basic steps: arriving, entering, and departure. You also learned the definition of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a high-risk call that requires training, control, attention to details. Remember, your safety is your first concern, then the one of the disputants. 4 minutes is not enough to explain in details domestic violence, but at least you know now how we respond. For more information, please go to MOV01007. This is a serious problem in our country. Thank you.